Hey everyone. In this video I wanted to do something fun and talk about why I like predator animals more than prey. Today is World Lion Day, so I figured it'd be a good subject to talk about today. And I've actually been wanting to make a video on this topic for quite some time. So let's jump right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about here is predator animals are very misunderstood. And the reason why is because we humans tend to project our feelings and our ways of thinking onto predators. We do that pretty much in life in general, but we do it quite a lot with predators, meaning we will judge them from a human lens, which makes us think that they're bad because they have to kill other things to survive. And we know that if a human being were to kill another human, that is bad, it's not right. So we project that onto predators. And immediately we think, oh my God, they're killing other things, they're horrible, they're bad. Well, here's the thing. They don't choose to do that. It's their instincts. It's the way that they were built. It's in their DNA. They literally have no choice. They can't eat plants to survive. If they did that, they would die because their bodies cannot utilize that as a nutrition source for them. So they have to kill and eat other things to live. They didn't choose that. So if you judge them as being bad for that, that's very unfair of you. That's like judging somebody as being bad for being born with something they couldn't choose, a disability or some other thing that wasn't in their control. If you think all predators are bad because they have to kill to survive, you're basically using that same way of thinking just onto them. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's so unfortunate how we tend to do that. We project humanity on, and human morality, should I say, onto predators, and then it makes us not like them because, we don't like the fact that they kill cute prey animals because so often prey animals, for whatever reason, are a bit on the cuter side, especially the smaller ones, and that triggers our empathy and makes us feel really bad if we watch them get killed by a predator trying to survive. But hey, just realize they don't choose that. They're not doing it with any malintent. There's no malice behind it. It's not like they hate the prey animals that they're eating. They literally are just acting out their instincts. That's all there is to it. So if you judge them as bad for that, that's very unfair of you, and it's just not cool. It's illogical pretty much when you get down to it. It's just this very emotional way of thinking, and we need to do less of that in the world because it's causing a whole lot of problems. But anyway, let's jump into why I like predator animals. Now that I've got the psychological aspect covered. So, one of the main reasons why I like predators so much is because they're tough and tenacious. And I admire that big time. To me, they're kind of like the equivalent of strong people, mentally and physically strong people. People who have been kicked in the face by life but continue to keep going no matter what happens. People who have had rough pasts, but they don't let that stop them. The reason why I think of predators in a similar way is because their way of living is not easy. Well, I should say their lives aren't easy because they don't choose their way of living. Their lives, just simply put, are not easy. They have to chase other animals that can be very fast or very dangerous, and they have to kill them and eat them to survive. That is not an easy thing to do. Imagine if you had to do that for your meals still. If you couldn't go to the store and buy meat. If you had to hunt everything that you ate. Just think about that. How difficult would that be for you? I'm sure you would go days without eating if that was the case. So that's the same thing for predators. They aren't going to be successful in every single hunt that they have. We know that. In fact, I remember reading somewhere that the most successful land predator is this tiny wild cat that lives in some jungle somewhere. I can't remember exactly. And it's about the size of a house cat. If not, I think even a bit smaller. They're really small. And this thing is lethal. It has the highest success rate of any predator out there. And the funny part is, its success rate is still only around 60%, which is nuts. That means 40% of the time it walks away empty-handed with an empty stomach, should I say. And that's one of the creatures that has the highest success rate for hunting. So if you extrapolate that out to lions and tigers and leopards and whatnot, they probably have even lower success rates for their hunts because they're dealing with faster prey and bigger prey and more dangerous prey. So I mean, just throwing out a random number here, but I would wager most predators are probably sitting around like a 25 or even lower percent success rate for their hunts. I mean, I can't tell you how many videos I've watched because I love nature documentaries and nature videos where I can't tell you how often predators walk away empty handed, where either the prey outruns them or the prey is so dangerous it's able to defend itself and just make the predators give up and walk away. That happens so often, more often than not. In fact, it's very common for a predator to not be successful in its hunt. And every time that happens, those predators are wasting their energy pretty much. Because think about it, all they're doing, the way that they continue living, just like us, is all energy management. They need energy to continue living. They get their energy from eating other animals. So if they're not able to get another animal to kill another animal, then they aren't going to have energy. And the more often that happens, they may even hit a point where they don't even have the energy left to hunt anything. And at that point, they starve. So think about it kind of like this. Imagine you were to run a marathon and come home and have no food and have no money left to even go to the store, and you didn't have any friends you could call on to give you food. So you just ran a marathon, wasted all this energy, and you get home and you have no food to replenish your energy with. That's what it's like when a predator goes on a hunt and fails, especially for predators that are quicker like cheetah. Cheetahs, oh man, if they chase down a gazelle and they fail, they just expended a ton of energy, like a ton of energy. So that's why quite often when they fail a hunt, they'll just lay down for a bit because they need to recuperate some of that energy that they spent on the hunt. So life for predator animals is just way more difficult than prey. And for that reason, I just have a soft spot for them. But beyond even that, there's another kind of more unfortunate reason why I have an affinity for predators, and it's simply because there are less of them on this planet. Unfortunately, predators are usually some of the most beautiful creatures out there. They have some of the most beautiful fur coats because of the fact that they evolved to blend in with their surroundings, so they have just cool markings we all know, like leopards and tigers. And if you don't know about it, look up Amur leopards because they are, in my opinion, the most beautiful big cat on the planet. They are just gorgeous. But because of that, because of the beauty of a lot of predators, they are hunted by idiotic humans to make fur coats and rugs and other crap like that people don't need. But because they're greedy, they want to kill this beautiful, majestic creature and just purely for its fur. It's messed up. But even beyond that, even if we didn't hunt them for their pelts like that, there would be less of them on the planet just because their lives are harder and they don't have as many young. And their young have way lower survival rates than prey animals because of the fact that when they have cubs or just babies in any form, I don't want to list off all the names for all the different names for predator babies, but when they have young, their young is very vulnerable because other animals in the surrounding area will try to kill their young to make sure that they won't have a grown predator later on that could potentially kill them. For instance, with leopards in Africa, baboons will actually try to steal baby leopards from the mom. And once they have the baby leopard, they'll kill it because, hey, it makes sense. That means one less predator in the future that could potentially kill them. So that happens quite often with predators. But even beyond that, they need their mother or their father, if they're in a pride kind of animal, they need their parents around to provide them sustenance. And if anything happens to their parents, then they die too. So they just have rough lives, whereas prey animals don't quite have it to that extent. But even beyond that, prey animals just have way more young than predators do. And that's probably because of the reason why they get hunted so much. So they have to breed more for the survival of their species. So they just breed like crazy. But predators, not quite. Quite often with the big cats, they'll have maybe like 1 to 3 babies per litter, which isn't all that much, especially when the odds of them surviving in some cases is like 33%. For cheetahs, I think it's one of the lowest. Like baby cheetahs just have the short end of the stick and they just do not have high survival rates. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why they're starting to become so endangered. Not only because humans are hunting them, but just because when they're on their own, their cubs don't have high survival rates. So they're just getting the short end of the stick in two different regards, and it sucks. But anyway, those are some of the main reasons why I just have more of an affinity for predators versus prey. Because predators are just so beautiful and they're strong and tenacious and tough, and they do not have easy lives, but they don't complain. They're not like us human beings. I don't even know that they would complain if they could. They're just living out their lives. And there's less of them than there are prey, so almost in any case, I tend to root for the underdog. And in nature, predators are the underdogs because there are way less of them, and they're slowly getting wiped out because of the stupidity of idiotic humans on other places. But oh well, you can tell I'm not happy about that. If it were up to me, I mean, I would probably build like robots or something that would protect them in the wild and like kill the hunters and whatnot. But the poachers, should I say, but unfortunately that's just not doable. And if I were to do that, that'd probably make me like an evil villain, but yeah, it's unfortunate. So hopefully this video has made you realize why some people can like predators more than prey, because even though prey animals are cute and all, there's just something that's so cool about predators and their way of life, and the fact that they're just some of the toughest creatures on the planet because their way of life is not easy. I mean, if we were put in their shoes, you could guarantee there would probably be like only 20% of the current population left alive after like a year. We would just get wiped out having to live that way of life because we simply have gotten to a point where we think we're above nature and people are out of shape and they just wouldn't be able to hunt for themselves and so on and so forth. So we have very easy ways of living nowadays, and hopefully people realize that, especially when they compare themselves to predators. But anyway, I've talked long enough, and if I keep going, I'll get into rambling territory, which I already pretty much have, so I'm going to end the video here. But if you found this interesting, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to see more videos in the future, then subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the future video. Arrivederci!